What's going on, everyone? We are officially here to the end of the NBA season, and what a journey it's been. From starting 2-10 to being dead in the water to being an absolute disaster and thinking like all hope is lost to now we are in a position to where we could end up getting the 6th seed, more than likely not the 7th seed. It's remarkable, right? I mean, talk about a turnaround, talk about success. It's a beautiful thing. Everybody's playing today. The Eastern Conference is already locked up. Everybody that is seeded is already seeded. But the Western Conference, outside of the top 4 seeds, is just a wild, just scenario-driven type of thing right now, right? I mean, the 5th seed, the Pelicans could get the 5th seed, the Warriors could get the 5th seed, and of course the Clippers could get the 5th seed. The 6th seed, all 4 of them could get the 6th seed, counting the Lakers, right? The Lakers could land in the 6th seed, the Warriors could land in the 6th seed, the Clippers could land in the 6th seed. Like, it's crazy the different possibilities and outcomes. It becomes an absolute mess. But more likely than not, the Lakers, they get the job done. They go win the game. They will be the 7th seed. Maybe you get lucky. Maybe Portland, tries to finish their season on one last hurrah. The Warriors have been atrocious on the road. They really have all season. They've kind of won a couple lately, but you never know. There's always that hiccup, right? There's always that game where the Warriors they don't have a good game and the Blazers have a great game. We saw that with the Clippers. I mean, Portland had a pretty nice game against the Clippers and we're fighting pretty hard most of that game. And I actually think if Portland plays like they did against the Clippers, I actually think Portland might win that game. Like if they can replicate yesterday, today, they might actually beat the Warriors, which is crazy. And you saw the Warriors almost like they were struggling against the Kings, right? And the Kings are playing like their bench guys and all that stuff. So anything is possible, but again, don't get your hopes up on the 6th seed. More likely than not, it's the 7th seed. Lakers have to handle business. Got to take care of business. Go win that game in Utah. Finish the season on a high note, right? You don't need to play heavy minutes because look, Utah's already eliminated. They don't care. They're trying to get the best draft pick possible. They're very likely going to play the end of the bench guys. And I wouldn't be shocked if there is a unit out there that is doing really good and looks like, oh, like we may be able to beat the Lakers. I could see those guys sitting on the bench real quick. Because Utah, I don't think is going to want to win this game. I think that they're going to want the draft pick. The players do. Players absolutely do. But hopefully they don't, right? Now, if everyone plays and everyone's good, and even if we just half-ass play, right, we're probably winning that game. But you don't want to see what happened last time happen again, where there was just no real sense of urgency. I understand guys were coasting. That's fine. But don't get a 10-point lead at the end of the game, and now you're in trouble, right? Very likely what will happen is what happened in the Suns game. It'll probably be a really close game, all game. You'll probably see a little back and forth, and then the Lakers will lock in the last 4th quarter and then get that separation. They'll win the game, and the game will be over. Now, personally, I'd like it to be the other way, where the Lakers just come out immediately and run Utah out the building. They, go up, they're up 15-20 at halftime, and then just sit LeBron James and AD the second half if you can. Obviously you need the other guys to kind of weather the storm, but you're giving them a 20-point, 15-point head start. They should be able to against the end of the bench guys for the Utah Jazz. So ideally, I would like to see them play. Now, there is concerns that LeBron and AD might sit. Dennis Schroeder looks like he's going to be out. I don't think Schroeder is going to be that big of an issue that he's not playing outside of like depth to where if he had a good game, maybe, he could help kind of steer in a more positive manner. But I don't see the Lakers losing this game if they come and play their effort, right? Damian Jones is probably going to once again be a hybrid of Giannis and Steph Curry. THT is going to want to ball out and really show. We'll see who even plays. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Utah even sits like Kelly Olynyk and THT and stuff like that. That could be a real possibility. Or they play like a quarter right? Like they just play a couple minutes here and there, like throughout the game, and then they're just pulled out quickly. Like it'll be interesting to see how it goes and how it plays out. But Lakers need to get the job done because you win this game, build that confidence. You win on a positive note, especially given the tough season we endured. You get ready to go into the play-in, and you let the chips fall where they may. You let the cards fall where they may. Right? That's what I want to see. Now, again, fingers crossed. I will definitely be watching that Warriors game at the same time as the Laker game. I will have one TV with the Laker game on. I'll have another TV with this Blazers Warrior game on. I cannot wait. We will see how it goes. I will probably be watching most of the games, right? Because, I mean, again, like there's so many possible variations of things that can happen. Now, the Lakers and the Warriors game as well as the Clippers and Suns game are all at the same time. So again, I'll most likely I'll probably be watching the Pelicans game, the Warriors game, and then the Lakers game. The Clippers Suns game. If the Clippers are playing all their starters, they should win that game. They really should. Now, obviously, the Suns, like if they want to, they can, right? Like they're not a tanking team where like if the Suns are just shooting the lights out or it looks like they're beating the Clippers, the Suns have no incentive to take those guys out and say, hey, we're not going to let's not win this game. They have every incentive in the world to beat them unless they want to play the Clippers more than they want to play, the Warriors. That could be a case, right? But if you're the Suns, you almost want to play the Clippers. I think the Clippers match up to the Suns better than the Warriors do, but there's a lot of uncertainty with Paul George. And we even got reports yesterday, like late yesterday, arguably earlier this morning, that that Paul George has no timetable for a return. So if you're the Suns, are you looking at it as like, let's take our chances with the Clippers? That could be a real possibility. Can Devin, like if you're the Suns, are you looking at it like can Devin Booker and Kevin Durant beat Kawhi Leonard? That's something, but I don't know. I'm rooting. I am rooting for the Blazers. I would absolutely love to see the Blazers beat the Warriors. That would just be absolutely beautiful. But again, don't get your hopes up. The Pelicans game and the Timberwolves game, very likely, whoever wins that game is going to be who the Lakers play. Unless something crazy happens, that's going to be the outcome. So whoever wins that Pelicans-Timberwolves game is going to play the Lakers in the first game of the play-in. Personally, I want to see the Lakers play the Pelicans. I think the Lakers match up to the Pelicans much better. I think we have their number. I think we know how to beat them. And I think that, you basically, you slow down and stop Brandon Ingram, you're going to win that game. And we've seen Vanderbilt have a ton of success in that department. I think he has that success again. Also, this time we'd have LeBron and AD. Also, we were beating the Pelicans even with the previous team. I just think the Pelicans are going to be an easier matchup. Timberwolves, however, the T-Wolves are on a back-to-back. They are at home. And, that could be very interesting for the Pelicans. Hopefully they kind of beat up on each other a little bit and have I think that's going to be just a grueling game. I think that will be playoff level basketball for both of those teams because, it's literally the decider of who gets the 8th seed, right? So both of those teams are absolutely going to want to win that game. Both of those teams are going to want to do everything in their power to win that game. And so if that happens, it's going to be interesting. Obviously, the Pelicans, they don't want to fall in to the 9th seed to where they're going to have to play the Thunder because now they have to win 2 games to get into the playoffs where, the Timberwolves, you want to keep the Timberwolves at bay, right? But from the Lakers standpoint, the Timberwolves, I do believe we can beat the T-Wolves. I really do. We kind of figured out the formula there, right? And Rui can match up with Karl Anthony Towns, so that could help. There's a lot there's a lot that we can take away from the previous Timberwolves game, which we also played them on the road, where this time it would be in LA. So again, home court is a factor. It is a thing. But and Anthony Davis really seemed to thrive and like that matchup. But it's just two bigs that Anthony Davis has to bang with. You don't want the wear and tear because look, Anthony Davis and LeBron James, they're gonna have to go all out in that game, right? It's a play-in game. You don't want to risk. You want to win that game and get into the playoffs, but you also want to be healthy. So I just think it's a tougher, likely more physical matchup, especially for AD, right? And then McDaniels, he was a problem. He was giving LeBron and guys fits all season. Like I would prefer the Pelicans. I am for all the smoke. I don't care if we have to play the Timberwolves. Then that's who you have to play, and you beat the Timberwolves, right? In a perfect world, the Lakers land the 6th seed and they don't have to worry about it. But again, more likely than not, you're playing either the T-Wolves or you're playing the Pelicans. And if you're the Lakers, whichever team is in front of you that's lined up, you need to knock them down. And that's what you have to do. That's what it is. And, and you don't want to get into that second play-in game. You just don't. That would be the worst thing in the world for the Lakers because now you get no rest. Because at least if you win that first play-in game, you get like 3 or 4 days rest, which would be huge for the Lakers before you go into that playoff game against the Memphis Grizzlies, right? But if you lose that first play-in game, now it's do or die, literally. It's win or go home. But beyond that, even if you do win that game, which I do believe that they will. I don't think they'll lose back-to-back games, right? They haven't lost back-to-back games in like a month. But even then, you win that game, you have like a day and a half of rest, and then you got to go play a grueling 7-game series against Denver, right? And it's not that we can't beat Denver. I still believe we could beat Denver. I think we match up arguably better than anybody to Denver, but it's just the wear and tear and tiredness, and we saw what happened in the Clippers game with LeBron and AD tired. Now, playoffs, you pick it up a little more. I get it, but I don't want to see that happen. I don't want to see the Lakers have to overexert themselves for the case of overexerting themselves because they couldn't get the job done. Get the job done. Beat Utah, play in the play-in game, beat Minnie, beat the Pelicans, whomever. If crazy circumstance happens where the Clippers end up losing and then the Pelicans win and they would jump up and then now you play the Clippers. Okay, if that happens and you got to play the Clippers, you beat the Clippers, right? Whoever it is, if it's the Timberwolves, the Pelicans, or the Clippers, beat that team, get into the play-in, don't have to worry about that single elimination game. And then there you go. All is right in the world. So this team has the talent. This team has the superstars. This team has all the intangibles, the defense, the offense, the three-point shooting, all of everything you need to be successful in the playoffs and win a championship. They have it. The experience, right? Pretty much everybody on this roster has played in the playoffs at least, a couple games. I mean, Rui's played in the playoffs, Jared Vanderbilt, Beasley, Schroeder, LeBron, AD, D'Lo's led a team to the playoffs. The only ones that haven't played in the playoffs is Austin Reeves off the top of my head. I'm not sure about Troy Brown off the top of my head. Lonnie Walker played in a play-in series, so, playoff basketball, playoff level basketball. So, pretty much everybody knows what it takes, know what you have to do, know what your job is, right? So do that. Get in. You have all the tools you need to win and make a deep playoff run, right? And look, if you get the 7th seed, realistically, they might have, there's no real easy path, but arguably an easier path because they would play the Grizzlies, very likely the Kings, and then, assuming, or the Kings or the Warriors, right? But still a lot of questions with the Warriors. What's going to happen with Andrew Wiggins? Are they going to be able to win on the road? Because if they can't win on the road, then they're definitely losing to the Kings because they're not going to have home court, right? So the Warriors are going to have to win at least one game on the road, assuming that they are the 6th seed, right? So, you very likely play the Warriors or the Kings, which I think the Lakers match up with both of them. Personally, I'd rather play the Warriors because then nobody can have any excuses. You just beat the defending champions, right? And I do think we could beat the Warriors. I think we match up brilliantly to the Warriors, right? But even beyond that, then after that, you're probably playing Denver or the Suns, most likely, right? So whichever one of those teams you play, beat them, and no matter what, you're in a good spot, right? Because if you let's say you play the Warriors, right? So you play Memphis, which is the 2 seed in the West. You beat the let's say the Warriors, right? Then nobody's gonna say anything because you can't say anything. You just beat the defending champions, and then you're either gonna play very most likely, unless the Clippers turn around, but they have a lot of question marks, right? But more than likely, you're going to either play, and even if you do play the Clippers, let's add the Clippers to that. You're either playing the team that has beaten you the last 11 games, or the team that everyone believes is going to come out the West in the Phoenix Suns, or the number one team in the West and the Denver Nuggets. If you win that matchup and you end up making it to the NBA Finals, nobody can say anything. Because one, the Lakers shouldn't even have been there. And then for them to go from not even being there to like now you're in the NBA Finals again. And if we go to the NBA Finals, personally, I want to play the Celtics because I just think that story would just be beautiful. The LA versus Boston, the clash of the Titans, winner gets number 18. That would just be beautiful. Although, many people would argue you want to play the Bucks because that's the best team, so that way then there's really nothing to say. But, whoever comes out the East clearly was the best team, right? So, especially if Boston comes out the East, because that means they would have came out the East back-to-back years, right? So, but regardless, one step at a time. But we're here, end of the season. It went by fast. Anyway, let me know your thoughts and opinions. I'd love to hear it. However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, let me know down in the comments below.